The Matrix Resurrections was directed by Lana Wachowski, not with Lily this time, and this is the 4th Matrix movie. It's kind of amazing that we're now living in a time where we actually got one of those. It's also amazing that I'm actually back in a Matrix getup. The last time I did the Matrix reviews back in 2019 for the 20th anniversary of the first film, I thought that's it. I'm never gonna be able to do a Matrix-like thing again, but here we are, and I'm so excited to talk about this, but before we get started, this is going to be a spoiler-free review. I don't want to get too much into plot details because the trailers don't. I'll keep some descriptions, but only what you've seen in the marketing and promotions, and I don't want to give anything else away beyond that. All you need to know is that The Matrix has obviously changed since the events of Revolutions. Things are a little bit different, in fact, very much so, and it seems that Thomas Anderson, played by Keanu Reeves once again, is still here. He didn't die, apparently, or maybe something's gone wrong that's keeping him alive, at least. And Trinity also exists in this world, but it seems like they have no memory of this ever happening. But all you need to know is that eventually some events do transpire that leads to them eventually trying to figure out how to stop this problem that's arisen. That's as vague as I can keep the plot description because I really don't want to give anything away. This was far and above my #1 most anticipated movie of the year. More than No Time to Die, more than Spider-Man No Way Home, more than Dune. This is the film that I was waiting for, because after Revolutions ended, which is a movie that I have come to appreciate a little bit more in the time since, even since the review that I did, it's a film that ends with somewhat of a finality, but also with endless possibilities ahead of it. Really, you could do anything with the Matrix story after that ended, and so when the 4th one was announced, it could really go anywhere, and you could do any kind of weird thing with it, and when it comes to the Wachowskis, I expect nothing but weirdness. And there's one thing I respect about them as filmmakers, it's that no matter how the product turns out, even if it's not the best thing in the world, there is an originality and a vision to it that is so different from any other director team working today that I am very interested in checking out the project as soon as it's greenlit. And with Resurrections, you definitely get that. This is a very strange movie. It's a massive departure from the usual franchise reset that you get with some franchises in the last few years. And it tries to do things in a way that is so different and it is so out there that I'm sure there are going to be people who don't like this movie. It's a movie that very much goes in line with Reloaded and Revolutions in that it makes decisions that are going to be very strange to comprehend at first. There is this chance that you're gonna watch Resurrections more and more as time progresses and sort of look back on certain things and think, does that decision work a little bit better now? Does that age worse? And when you're going through those analyses in different moments and you're trying to figure it out what you think, I feel like this is going to lead to a lot of fascinating conversations. And for that, I credit Lana Wachowski for once again bringing a very unique vision to the whole thing. This is a film that I'm looking forward to seeing multiple times. It's going to be on HBO Max as well, so that's going to give me that opportunity. But the biggest thing that I can say about this film is it left me fascinated at all times. I can't really say much more about what's going on in it, obviously, but again, it's making choices that are very different, and it's the first half especially is so strange compared to what I was expecting, and then the film progresses and it makes even more bizarre choices, but all through you can see a clear vision, and I respect the hell out of it for that. Seeing Keanu Reeves in the role once again, as well as Carrie-Anne Moss's Trinity, was awesome. The both of them, it feels like first of all, they've aged like fine wine. They look incredible. But also, they're both really great in the film. They both just slip back into the roles like it's not been a day since the last 3 movies. And they're really great in it. In fact, there's a chemistry to them in this one that I feel like sometimes was missing in the original trilogy. I actually cared more about their relationship in this film, and I think they really did an outstanding job with that. As far as the other cast goes, I thought Jessica Henwick was a massive standout. I thought Bugs was really cool, a really awesome character, and it's just nice to see Jessica Henwick getting some love, man, because I've seen a lot of stuff with her in it, and I've been waiting for the day where it's like, can we all can we all appreciate Jessica Henwick? And hopefully this is the movie that does it. I think she's damn good in this. Yahya Abdul-Mateen II plays Morpheus. Now, a lot of people have been asking about this as to why Lawrence Fishburne isn't in it, but, you know, other characters from, you know, the actors from the other movies are, and why has he been recast? Obviously, no spoilers, but there is a reason. There is a story-based reason as to why that's happening, and I get it. I get it. I think it makes sense. In fact, they do a pretty good job of still honoring the fact that Lawrence Fishburne was in the original trilogy, and they do manage to bring that in, like, they managed to clear that up pretty nicely nonetheless. He's definitely got a presence throughout it, but I think Yahya did a really, really good job, and he really still captured the essence of Morpheus, at least this sort of younger, newer version of Morpheus, if you will. I'm not going to talk too much about who Jonathan Groff plays, although if you've seen the trailers, I think you have an idea, especially in the clip that just played over what I just said. Yeah, I guess if you're going to go for, you know, trying to compare and contrast, I'm sure a lot of people will, but yeah, he was good. He was good, you know. I would say this, like, if you're going to try and compare him, like I said, to the original person, then you're probably going to be a little, you know, shorthanded in terms of, like, you know, trying to give the right kind of praise. But I still think he did a pretty good job. The action is very good. It's not like the first film. Like, I think if you're going to go into this expecting it to be as groundbreaking as that, I do have some unfortunate news. It is not. But it's good. You know, it works. It works for the story. It is well filmed. It looks great. The cinematography is really good in this. And the uses of color are also really great. In fact, in contrast to the other Matrix movies, this one has a lot more color and a lot more vibrancy. And that has to do with the fact that things obviously changed at the end of Revolutions. Because at the end of that film, the green tint, because of the code, was disappearing when the system reset happened. And now there's that, you know, colorful sunrise that Sati creates. Sati is in this movie too, by the way, played by Priyanka Chopra. But what I really like is that this film's unique visual flair really helps it in a lot of ways. Yes, there's still your greens and blues, and I think they use them really, really well, especially the blues, because there is a certain aspect to that, which is, again, I don't want to give it away, but there is something really interesting they do, especially with the world inside the Matrix, with that color, which I thought was really, really cool. The music by Johnny Klimek and Tom Tykwer is also really good. Yeah, you can miss Don Davis, and I did a little bit, but they captured his essence quite a bit that I almost felt like I was still listening to his music. It also feels like they have taken stuff from some other Wachowski projects recently, because I believe Tom Tykwer worked on some of the music for Sense8. I might be wrong about that. And you can definitely hear aspects of that. A lot of the cast of Sense8 is in this movie, which I thought was really cool. In fact, a lot of filmmaking techniques seem to have, like, they've come into this film, like, from that series. And I couldn't help but notice that, because there are certain things they do, especially with characters and how they appear, and they're talking to others. And I think that feels like, you know, that's a filmmaking signature move that's been carried forwarded. And I thought that was really, really cool. In fact, this movie is almost funnily self-aware at times. There are moments where you'll see something and it's almost like it's trying to critique the idea of movies that do nostalgia bait and stuff like that every now and then, because this movie has a lot of that. It'll reference and even show you certain things play out from the first Matrix in this, and you'll constantly be looking at that and thinking, yeah, obviously they're trying to reference that. There are shots that are recreated beat for beat, and I remember thinking, like, obviously there's going to be some issue towards this, but again, it's almost doing it in this really self-referential meta way, like, hey, we know what we're doing. Although there were points where I think it did a bit too much and it became sort of the, you know, a victim of its own critiquing. Like, there's one point in particular I thought, oh yeah, now you were critiquing it and now you're doing the thing that you were critiquing. That moment right there. Maybe should have toned it down for that one moment. I think that would have helped over there. But, you know, for the most part, I think that aspect of it also really, really worked. It actually led to some funny moments. This is the most humorous, I would say, of the Matrix movies. And, you know, that's new, so good job on that front, Lana Wachowski. Does it get a little bit messy and a little bit all over the place at times? It does. Yes, there are aspects to it which I think could have been a little more solidified. I think the film tries to do some things that don't quite stick the landing. I think sometimes it gets a little too preachy, but then I can say that about the other movies in the trilogy as well. And I had issues in those movies with that too. It was like, at a point you understood what they're going for, but it was kind of like trying to tell you what it is nonetheless. This movie also has that, where there's a couple of moments where a character will just tell you what's happening in case you didn't quite get it the first time. Subtlety feels like that of a sledgehammer to the face once again. But then the Wachowskis often do that. That seems to be like an issue across, I think, everything that I've seen from them. So yeah, I think that could have been a bit better handled for sure. I can say that. Like I said, the film makes choices in the second half especially that are going to be divisive. You're either going to like what they do, or you, honestly, I'm saying this, you might actually hate it. Because it's a very make it or break it kind of decision. But in a way, at first I was like, okay, I don't know. But then as it went on, it sort of hit, like it let it process a little bit more. And then more of the movie happened. And I thought, okay, I can kind of see it. I can use some more development in that area though. I'm hoping that we do get a little bit more of that in something. Overall, did I enjoy The Matrix Resurrections? You bet I did. Did I have issues with it? Absolutely. But I still was riveted for every single minute of it. I still think it mostly delivers on everything that I was hoping it would. And like I said, it's going to be a divisive film. So I'm very interested in seeing what the commentary is around it going forward. And over the next few days, especially with the release of it happening now. And I'm curious to hear what your thoughts are as the days progress. I'm going to give The Matrix Resurrections an 8 out of 10. I have come to appreciate all the Matrix sequels, honestly, and I mean that in all sincerity. Matrix Reloaded, I've come to enjoy a lot more. Revolutions is the weakest still of these movies for me, but I would say I enjoyed this as much as I enjoyed Reloaded. And again, both of them I've come to like more, and I think this one is just as good, frankly. Again, but you know, better than Revolutions. But yeah, I think that there is such a unique and self-aware meta vision over here that I can't help but praise it. I can't help but praise it for those aspects. Guys, thank you very much for watching. Look forward to more reviews very soon. As always, if you like this, please do subscribe, and I'll see you guys at the movies.